Say hello to Traveler-san. Through the creative use of game mechanics, and at times glitches, we're on a quest to see just how much of Genshin Impact can be completed using only the Traveler. And we sometimes... we pretty much always break things. If you enjoyed the series, do make sure to like and subscribe. It helps Traveler-san out a lot. We are finally back in Sumeru and ready to tackle its Archon Quest. What about Dane's Leaf and the Chasm? That quest isn't all too interesting ever since they cranked the easy dial to maximum by letting you skip unlocking the underground mines. Seriously, you can talk to Catherine, talk to this miner, and boom, teleport straight to Dane's Leaf. I guess the mines being sealed isn't lore relevant anymore. So, what sort of challenges will the Sumeru Archon Quest bring? We're gonna be doing the whole thing without using Dendro Traveler, given the restriction I set for Sumeru back in episode 14. Probably gonna be Dendro Rings. Probably gonna be Dendro Monuments. Probably gonna be a lot of domain breaking, because why not? Speaking of, we have our first one right at the beginning, when we're tasked with rescuing Hypatia in that cave. Are you ready for the classic Traveler-san domain experience? Because, naturally, the first thing I did was go out of bounds and try to break it. This is one of the cooler domains to go out of bounds in, but it's also among the hardest to navigate, especially using only Traveler. My goal is simply to bypass the beginning cutscene trigger to see if I can mess with the domain's logic. Maybe do stuff backwards. Door of Resurrection. That's a sign to leap off a cliff and let the respawn take me back in bounds. Well, this is a first. Did I just set a custom respawn point? I think this is because this is the Door of Resurrection that activates upon being teleported to that Inazuma looking room of the domain. But since that teleport didn't happen, it just set where I was standing as the respawn point. Well, that's a bust. Can't get in from underground either. After climbing around a bit, I found a hole leading back into the domain in the room you appear in after clearing the Inazuma part. I know these descriptions might not be helping much, but that's because this domain is large and confusing. But if you're looking for an easy way out of bounds, this hole is it. Turns out it's all for naught, though, because after gathering all the keys to open the door, the teleport sequence won't activate and take me to the final boss. I think the boss room is this giant flower bud from Out of Bounds, but I don't see any way to reach it from out here. At least not with only the Traveler. So after clearing most of the domain, it's time to play the opening cutscene.
How'd things out here end up looking like this?
Make our way through the already open door. So Sumeru domains might be tough to break because they have some quest logic. Noted. It's time to meet the most important person in all of Sumeru, Nilou.
You know who I am?
Oh, you better believe it. I'm your biggest fan. Would you all be mad if I suddenly changed this series to Traveler Only plus Nilou? This is unavoidable. I have to make Traveler-san stronger. And yes, this time it's a permanent upgrade. You can thank this infuriating dialogue between Paimon and Dori for that.
If you spend just 100,000 more, you can pick any knowledge capsule of your choice up to a value of 1 million Mora.
For crying out loud, Paimon, it's a scam. I've played enough RuneScape in my time to smell one from 20 miles away. No means no. Or at least I wish it did, because no matter how much you try to tell Paimon that, the game forces you to buy the Sword Fighting Techniques 8 capsule. I can't believe this gets the privilege of being a 5-star quest item. You're telling me it's more important than the Garland from the Aranyaka series? That it's on par with the likes of Monolith Fragment and Funerary Mask? After using, Traveler-san gets the huge upgrade of 3 whole base attack. Act 2 of the Archon Quest is a masterclass in storytelling, and that's great, I love a good story. But it legit has 0 gameplay, so we're skipping over it. You may have noticed Starfall Sword has been making appearances in cutscenes. That's because it's an undisputed fact that it makes every cutscene better, which is why I'm about to put it in the cutscene where Sino and Alhaitham battle for hopefully hilarious results. Who the heck are you? This isn't the battle cutscene. Oh, hello there, Alhaitham. Did this dude just waltz in here and stop the fight before it even began? I mean, we saw Alhaitham and there's Sino. Quest overlap is crazy. Well, it was funny in its own way, but also a bummer that it ruined my grand plan. Watch this setup. Stuck in the fall animation. We've reached the Elazar Hospital, meaning we've got Dendro monuments. As mentioned earlier, I won't be using Dendro Traveler. We have to come up with another way to solve these. I mean, there's only one other way, use Dendrograna. But there doesn't seem to be any around these parts. Not a problem though, just place a portable waypoint in the most advantageous spot, say up on this roof corner. Quickly clear these enemies to unlock the last monument, nab Animo, find some Dendrograna elsewhere, and... one trick. Nice. The trick that lets us solve this is that Elemental Grana can be teleported within the same map. Something that really helped out back when I decided it'd be a brilliant idea to explore Sirai Island before unlocking Sirai Storm Chasers. On to another domain. This one's full of puzzles and fights. It also has a super simple way out of bounds in the first room. I know this because I've explored here on my main account over a year ago. That said, I'm fairly certain you can't skip to the end in this one. You see that big rock floating over there? That's the final room of the domain. There's no way to reach it from here. If we walk out of bounds all the way to the portal at the end that teleports the player into that room, it won't trigger because the teleport is tied to a quest step during the floating platform ride later in the domain. So while this is all cool, not gonna be skipping this one. Gonna have to do it the normal way. Still, it's fun to explore on foot this area you're not supposed to be able to reach. Oh, that's a void out zone. How did this happen? I didn't unlock a door resurrection until after voiding out. So that's another domain skipped. Let me cross out that note I made earlier. This whole area seems to be surrounded by an invisible wall, but I bet if you give me just 5 minutes, make that a little under 4 minutes, and I'll have found a way out. Because behind the door in the northeast of the room is a hole that leads outside. For whatever reason, there's no invisible wall on this side. Pretty cool up top. Look at the domain over there, all foggy. With those quest markers from the first room, we can see exactly how far away it is. Don't think I can make that glide, but could be nice to go back and get some of the treasure chests I skipped. And by some, I mean literally every single one. Nope, not happening. Oh well, not like Primo Gems are important on this account. Thus, we've reached the final act of the Sumeru Archon Quest. All that's left is First, breaking Nahida out of a barrier, you couldn't have picked a better traveler for the job. And then after that, I'm forced to play as Nilou. Oh man, how dare they do this to me? I'm so utterly furious. It's time to tackle the final domain, Deus Foundry. All Fatui. Forget that. We're breaking and skipping the domain. Come on now, did you really expect any different? If it's an option, I'll pretty much always take it. That doesn't mean I don't have to deal with any Fatui. No, I still have to put up with these guys and their annoying shields in the first room. But once that's done and dusted, so too is this domain. My way out of bounds is on screen now. Care to guess where it is? That light in the ceiling.
It looks like we can climb up these pipes.
An astute observation, Paimon. You're learning. Getting up there, that'll be a bit tricky with only Traveler. Seeing as I'm a Tepe certified Starfall Sword Master, can't say I'm actually worried though.
Terra Smash! Terra Smash! Yeah!
And I'm out. Despite how big this domain is when one plays it normally, the distance one has to travel to skip it is very short. The elevator is right over top of this ridge. You can see right through it and, as you might have guessed already, can glide right into it. The end.
Looking at its operational status, we must prepare for the worst.
Please. Ain't gonna be nothing to it. Geo Traveler will wipe the floor with this boss, just like everything else in this game.
Good riddance, cruel world. Terra Smash! Yeah, what? Yeah.
Geo can't get past this part. How rare for Geo Traveler to not be able to do something. Starfall Sword is just barely short of being able to reach the floating Nirvana engines. Aiming directly at them won't work, and Sacrificial Sword doesn't activate because no damage is dealt when attacking. Burst doesn't appear to hit them either. What a lucky guy. Because if Geo could get the job done, then I'd be making a clown of him in the first phase by attacking him from behind like this. If Geo won't work, and I know both Hydro and Electro can't damage them, then so long as I want to keep my no Dendro restriction intact, believe me, I do, didn't come all this way, do all the exploring, heck, clear the entire Aranyaka chain just to give up at the last obstacle. That leaves me with but one option. Anemo. Mr. False God, it's time for round 2.
It really feels like guts.
What in blazes is that sound? Is there a jet engine in here? I'm not making this up. I didn't edit it in. This sound started playing when I entered the domain after switching to Anemo.
The exhilaration of such power.
Could you repeat that? I can't hear you. Oh my gosh, it's persisting during the battle. I have a feeling one of his attacks glitched. Somehow before the fight even began? Or maybe it's the sound of Traveler-san flexing his awesome Anemo powers. Yeah, let's go with that until proven otherwise. I had thought the cutscene would stop the noise.
Burn to oblivion!
So that was the attack that caused it. I'm very confused. I could understand if it was an attack from the first form that somehow started and got interrupted upon entering the domain, but how in the world did that happen with an attack from his second form that shouldn't have even been spawned in yet? Might not ever solve that mystery, but we're about to solve this one. Can Anemo get the job done? Absolutely. The tornado tears that grounded one to shreds, and Palm Vortex cleans up the rest. Okay, we need to pause for a moment. Remember how I said a Geo Traveler couldn't do this? I was wrong. Way wrong, in fact. Geo Traveler can absolutely clear this part. In the story version of the fight, the Nirvana engines take much less elemental damage to break. The center engine can be broken with 2 hits from Starfell Sword or Burst. With respect to internal cooldown, it takes 5 in the weekly boss. The flying engines can always be destroyed with 1 Starfell Sword hit in either version. There are 2 ways to hit them. Stand directly below and aim up with Starfell Sword, or use nearby constructs to instantly detonate the skill. I prefer the second method, because it's satisfying how everything lines up perfectly. Let's jump into it. I'm using my main account to demonstrate against the weekly boss version. By using Burst on this spot while facing north, constructs will appear near each flying engine and the center engine will take 1 instance of damage. We can use the constructs to instantly detonate Starfell Sword and destroy the flying engines. Once only the center engine remains, it's a simple matter of hitting it with Starfell Sword. And that's it. 1 hit is all that would be required to clear it in the story version. Traveler-san would have just won with Geo. But let's continue, because Geo can also clear the weekly boss version, if the 4th Ascension talent is unlocked. This makes the final hit in normal attack chains deal Geo damage. It's half the damage of Starfell Sword, but it can easily be fit in between skill cooldowns, enough times that it saves a skill use or 2. And there it is, the weekly boss version complete. This is actually doable without the 4th Ascension talent, but it's 100% RNG, and the timing is absurdly precise. The Nirvana engines don't always spawn in the same spots, and to do it this way requires the engines to spawn in specific locations. Doing so saves 1 use of skill by allowing the center engine and a flying engine to be hit simultaneously with Starfell Sword. Bit of a digression, totally shoehorned this into the script, but with that, the Sumeru Archon Quest is not done yet. We have 1 more domain. Totally forgot it existed. It's nothing more than a couple of fights, but the atmosphere and layout are both very unique. Plus, I have to do it with Anemo, so I guess I won't be able to skip it. Actually, I know I already beat a few of the mobs and unlocked most of the 4-leaf sigils, but hypothetically, would I have been able to complete it by skipping? It does look like it might be possible, by using the terrain to climb all the way up to the ship. Oh yeah, totally possible. Another example of unintended platforming in Genshin domains. Gotta love it. Oh geez. Whew, scary. And with that, the Sumeru Archon Quest is done. What an adventure Sumeru has been. What began with collecting Dendroculus years ago, that turned into the wondrous riddle of how to complete Aranyaka. of how to navigate and break into every ruin in the desert without ever once using clearance, attempting quests backwards, discovering brilliant and unusual sights. The largest region of Genshin Impact demanded a lot from a lone traveler, though its Archon Quest, surprisingly, did not. Were there no Dendro rings at all? Or did I perhaps skip them because I broke every domain? There are parts of the desert left unfinished, a whole slew of content we may, perhaps, one day revisit. But for now, we part ways with Sumeru, for there are new adventures in new lands just beyond the horizon. Thanks for tagging along in this episode of Traveler-san. If you enjoyed, do make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter at Moosashi if you'd like to keep apprised of what I'm up to. This is Moosashi and Traveler-san signing off. Till next time.